He lied about $1 stocks, made millions, and only served 22 months in jail. Then, Hollywood turned his crimes into a blockbuster. This is the story of Jordan Belfort, the man who scammed America and got rich again doing it. And the wildest part, people still cheer for him. It all started in Bayside, Queens, 1962. A working-class neighborhood where dreams were modest. But one kid, Jordan Belfort, had no interest in ceilings. At 16, he made 20 grand selling Italian ices on the beach. Most teens would have bought a car. Jordan enrolled in dental school. First day, the dean told the class, "If you're here to get rich, you're in the wrong profession." Jordan stood up, nodded, and walked right out. He wasn't there to clean teeth. He was there to get rich. Next stop, meat. After college, Jordan launched a door-to-door meat and seafood business. It was messy, scrappy, but surprisingly successful, hitting $100,000 a month in sales. But late deliveries, spoiled meat, and unpaid invoices meant it all went bankrupt. In the wreckage, Jordan found his superpower: the product didn't matter. Steaks, surfboards, stocks. You could sell anything. The salesman was born. He didn't need a better product, he needed a better playground. Enter Wall Street. Jordan landed a job at a legit firm. This was the 80s, the era of greed and excess. He learned how the markets moved, how brokers talked, and most importantly, how they sold. Then came Black Monday, October 1987. The market crashed. Jordan was fired. But while others mourned, Jordan saw an opportunity. He discovered penny stocks, pink sheet garbage no serious broker would touch. But here's the magic: 50% commissions. Same pitch, 10 times the reward. So Jordan picked up the phone. He called some poor guy in Nebraska. "Listen to me," he'd say. "This company is tiny now, but it's sitting on technology that's going to disrupt the entire industry. I'm talking about a ground floor opportunity, completely under Wall Street's radar. You get in now at $1 a share, and in 6 months, you're calling me from your beach house in Maui." And just like that, he closed for $1,000 on a single call. No rules, no regulators, just pure adrenaline. He'd found his kingdom. In 1989, Jordan wasn't alone. He teamed up with Danny Porish, a fast-talking misfit who could close any deal. Jordan had the vision, Danny brought the chaos. Together, they built their empire, Stratton Oakmont. The name sounded prestigious, but in reality, it was a boiler room in a strip mall. His first recruits weren't analysts, they were bartenders and college dropouts. Jordan didn't want experience, he wanted hunger. He developed a method called straight-line persuasion, a psychological pressure cooker that turned rookies into closing machines. They bulldozed hesitation and drowned out doubt, guiding prospects from "Hello" to "Where do I send the check?" The office was electric. Phones never stopped ringing. The money never stopped flowing. Stratton's brilliance wasn't just how it sold, but who it sold to. They targeted forgotten investors, working-class retirees, desperate parents, people Wall Street ignored. Stratton sold them hope, wrapped in urgency and dressed in false certainty. At first, it was obscure penny stocks. But as the money rolled in, the schemes evolved. They started doing IPOs for real companies. They'd buy up massive blocks of cheap shares, turn the sales floor into a hype machine, flood the market with manufactured excitement, spike the stock, and then dump everything at the top. This left thousands of investors holding worthless paper. It was called a pump and dump. At Stratton Oakmont, it was called another Tuesday. By the early 90s, the firm had exploded. The office was a blur of screaming phones, $2,000 suits, and enough narcotics to kill a rhinoceros. Jordan built a culture where fear and loyalty were currency. Top performers were treated like royalty, getting bonus checks and watches tossed across the room like candy. Underperformers were humiliated and replaced in hours. The parties were legendary. Strippers in the conference room, champagne overflowing into fax machines. Jordan had become a cult leader in an Armani suit. He bought a helicopter and named his yacht after his wife, Naomi. He preached the same sermon: success is everything, and if you're not winning, you're nothing. By 1994, Stratton was on fire, but the structure was rotting from the inside. They were getting reckless. The SEC had flagged a growing list of suspicious filings. Complaints were piling up. Internally, brokers were pushing stocks with no revenue, no product, sometimes no working phone number. Management's answer was simple: close the deal or get out. Hiding the money became a full-time job. Millions were funneled offshore through shell companies. Some accounts were in his aunt's name in the UK. Others were parked in Geneva. At one point, he used a housekeeper to smuggle cash stuffed into her bra. Jordan called it asset protection. The FBI called it money laundering. Inside the firm, things were unraveling. Drug use went from a reward to a necessity. People passed out during calls. Fights broke out over commissions. Jordan himself was spiraling. His marriage was disintegrating. He once crashed his Ferrari while high on Quaaludes, with his 3-year-old daughter in the passenger seat. Then came the yacht incident. Against the captain's warning, Jordan insisted they sail from Italy to Sardinia during a storm. Drunk and high, he was convinced nothing could touch him. The yacht took on water and sank. Jordan, his family, and $2 million in jewels and narcotics had to be rescued by the Italian Navy. Back in New York, the walls were closing in. Journalists were poking around. Former employees were talking. And most dangerous of all, an FBI agent named Gregory Coleman smelled blood. He quietly began piecing together the timeline, pulling call scripts, subpoenaing wire records, and tracking purchases that didn't match reported income. What Jordan didn't know was that some of his own brokers had flipped. They were wires and turned over folders. In October 1996, federal agents raided Stratton Oakmont. Phones were ripped from desks, files were emptied, hard drives were copied. The FBI had what it needed. But Jordan still wasn't done. While under investigation, he wired $2 million to Switzerland. The transaction was traced. The conversation about it was recorded. That single transfer unraveled everything. By late 1998, Belfort was out of moves, facing up to 30 years in prison for wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. So Jordan did what he always did: he sold. Not stocks, but information. He flipped. He wore a wire and handed over everyone who had once worshipped him. Over 30 employees were indicted. Brokers, partners, friends. Some of them served more time than he did. Jordan got 22 months in a minimum security facility. No fences, no cells. He played tennis, lifted weights, and at night, he wrote. That's where he met Tommy Chong, the comedian, who was serving time for selling bongs online. Jordan told him the whole story. Tommy wasn't outraged, he was amused. Write it down, he said. So Jordan did. In 2007, he published The Wolf of Wall Street, a memoir that read more like a victory lap than a confession. The public ate it up. He sold the film rights, and in 2013, Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio turned it into a global blockbuster. The same man who lied to investors was now entertaining them on the big screen. Jordan Belfort, a convicted felon, became a pop culture icon. But the people he scammed, they didn't get movie deals. A teacher lost her retirement. A war veteran invested his life savings. They were left with nothing. The court ordered Jordan to pay $110 million in restitution. To this day, only a fraction has been paid. The rest vanished into legal loopholes. Today, Jordan Belfort is doing just fine. He's a motivational speaker, a sales coach, a podcast host. He sells success and teaches ethics on stages around the world. He wears the name The Wolf like a badge of honor, not the scar it should be. He didn't just escape justice, he sold it. He turned fraud into fame. And maybe the scariest part is that we applauded. He once said, "I was guilty of being greedy, but so is everybody else." Maybe that's why he got away with it. Because deep down, we never wanted him punished. We wanted to be him. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as wild as we did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world.
See you in the next episode. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.